what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and I'm super excited about the breakdown today because it's going to be our first Blade Runner breakdown on Liam Malone. He is a New Zealand sprinter, and I think it's going to be super interesting to be able to compare some of the numbers from a Blade Runner in comparison to a sprinter that's not a Blade Runner. So we'll go ahead and hop into the video right now. As always, if you like the information, go ahead and click the thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, go ahead and leave those down below. We'll hop into the video right now. Okay, so this was from a couple years ago, the 200. I like doing the 200 just because, you know, with the start with Blade Runners is a little bit of a different type of start, and then that ends up impacting how the acceleration phase happens, and then obviously the top end speed phase happens, where the 200 is a little bit more of a sprint where you're able to get just a lot better understanding of how that top end speed should look as a Blade Runner. So anybody that's watching this that is really looking to be able to replicate the running form, I think being able to look at this type of running is, you know, more the 200, 400 meter. I think those are the easier events to be able to succeed at. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and look at Liam Malone here. And, you know, big thing that really stands out to me is just how fast his turnover here is. We'll look to see what his ground contact time is. So we'll say it's 3.56 when it's first touching the ground. Maybe not. Maybe 5.8. Let's say 5.8. And then, yeah, he's definitely off by, you know, 6.5, 6.7, something like that. So it seems like one of the big things that you got to be able to do as a Blade Runner, and I'm really just breaking this down as I'm going through the content here, is the rebound effect of being able to really do a great job of being able to control that knee flexion. So you have to have a lot of strength within your quad in order to be able to really control that knee flexion, to be able to then cycle that leg right back up and through, and to be able to get good extension all the way back out. Let's see when he ends up touching the ground again. Okay, that looks like it was right on 0.0. So he has about a 3.35 cycle there with that right leg. Let's see how much time he spent with his leg back behind him. So he came off the ground, you know, he was definitely, maybe it was 6.6, you know, so he's at about a 0.08 contact time, which is great. Right about there, 8.3, 6.6 to 8.3. So he ends up being with the leg behind him for about 0.17. And then spends the other 0.17. So he's at, yeah, about a 0.34, 0.35 in terms of transition time. And he's about split with where he's able to spend the time with his leg back behind him with the leg out in front, which is a little bit different from, you know, like a Usain Bolt or Tyson Gay or somebody like that, just because they end up spending a lot more time with their time out in front, with their leg out in front of them. So like Tyson Gay, for instance, he's easy just because he's like right at 0.3. He's at about 0.1 to 0.12 with his leg back behind him, and about 0.2 to 0.18 with his legs out in front of him. So he's a lot faster, or spends a lot more time with his legs out in front than with his legs back behind, which is going to be a little bit different here just with watching Liam Malone here with his, you know, and it makes sense just because when you're landing here, there's a lot of stability that comes into play, and when you go and you push back up off the ground, notice he's not getting full extension back behind him. He's going right away into that knee flexion, which is great, but you have to have a lot of quad strength and hip flexor strength and core strength to be able to control how much that knee ends up flexing off the ground, and make sure you don't let the leg get too far back behind you and are able to cycle right back out in front right away. Let's look at the left side now that we have the right side numbers. That one looks pretty perfect in terms of when his foot actually touched the ground. Yeah, but it's not going to be great. Again, it looks like about 0.808 in terms of, because he was still on the ground at 0.27. He hit right at 0.24. You know, 0.32 might be a little bit too long with 0.32. So maybe 0.07 in terms of how much time he spent on the ground. All right, lands back at 6.7. Okay, so we have about 36 on that one, 0.36. So he was at about 0.34, 0.35 on the right, about 0.36 on the left. So, you know, a little bit more time spent in the time spent off the ground, the transition phase or the swing phase, but a lot less time spent on the ground with the foot contact. So really being able to, as a blade runner, make sure that you're able to control that transition phase and cycle those legs the best you can is going to be, really critical. And as you're pushing off the ground, you just want to make sure that you're staying very, very vertical. Look at how, he's not taking necessarily really long steps here. I think he's doing a good job of getting his feet out in front, but he's really doing a great job of controlling. I mean, really everybody is doing a great job of controlling as their leg gets back behind by not, allowing that blade to get too far back. You really want to make sure that as you're pushing off, you're able to cycle that leg right back up and through as fast as you can, and really being able to maximize the front side mechanics. So now when you get into your knee height, being able to really allow that foot to separate and reach the best that you can, and then pull back underneath you. A big part is going to be when you have really strong overall quad strength, and obviously there's going to be a lot of reliability on the quad strength, and there's going to be an opposite necessity of hamstring strength. So there's a lot of similarities here, obviously, with blade runners in comparison to non-blade runners, and being able to really make sure that there's a great balance between being able to really use the quads as well as the hamstrings to really create a lot of force production. It looks like as they're pulling back down here, they're making sure that they're able to keep that, they're doing a great job pulling that upper hamstring, right, up in here, being able to utilize that, but then when they land, a little bit more of a knee bend, right, during that landing phase. So a lot of times we see, like again with Tyson Gay or Usain Bolt, they're really straight with those legs when they land. But here it looks like there's going to be a little bit more of a knee bend, and then being able to right away cycle right back up. So you don't need to get into that extension with that leg. You just need to make sure that you're able to cycle the leg very effectively in order to make sure that you're able to control that turnover, get that leg back out in front, to then be able to get it right back underneath you very vertically to make it so you have a fast contact time. It seems like the two big things is being able to control that leg coming up as it's going through that swing phase, and then making sure that you're able to master the contact time is critical to be able to really achieve high top speeds as a blade runner. All right, so as always, guys, if you like the information, go ahead and click the thumbs up down below. We have a few different options for people that are looking to get into a speed program. We have a 3-month program, we have speed breakdowns, we have even a 1-month program that we have available right now. You can check all that out in the link down below. And as always, if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to us. We'll be happy to hear from you. Thanks for watching the videos, and we'll talk to you soon.